Welcome to Flip Math Lesson 25 for the 6th grade. Today we're going to talk about dividing, and instead of having remainers for an answer, we're going to take those remainers and we're going to turn them into fractions, so our final answer will be a mixed number. That's the first concept we're going to look at today. So, for example, it says a 26-inch piece of string was divided into 5 sections. How long was each section? And so we have a 26-inch piece of string, and we want to divide it into 5 sections. So 5 goes into 2, 0 times 5 goes into 26. I know 5 times 5 is 25. And so we can write that and subtract, and I have 1 left over. Now in the past, we've looked at you write a remainder, and you write 1. And that was enough in 5th grade math, but you're in 6th grade now, and we're not going to do that anymore. Instead, we want to understand how to turn this into a mixed number. And so we're looking at what's left over right here, all right? And what we're looking at here is really we have 1 divided by 5. That's what still needs to be done, 1 divided by 5. And so we could write 1 divided by 5. And we know we can't solve that without getting into decimals. But we also know that 1 divided by 5 can also be written with a fraction bar. And so our remainder becomes our numerator. And what we're dividing by, our divisor, becomes our denominator. And so in the end, we have a mixed number of 5 1/5. And because this is a word problem, we got to add our label of inches for our final answer. So we have an example there. We can also talk about it in other senses. All right. We know that a whole circle is considered 100%. So then the next question would be, what percent of a circle is 1/7? All right. Now technically what we have here is we have 100%, and we have the word of here, and of means multiply. So we're going to multiply by 1/7. But we're kind of skipping a step and going right to here, because by looking at this, we know 100% to multiply, we're going to make that 100 over 1. And so this actually equals 100% divided by 7, which is what we have over here on the right. And so we're gonna, that's where how we got to this point right here on the right side of the screen, 100% divided by 7. But now that we understand that, now we can do our division. We're gonna say 7 goes into 1, 0 times 7 goes into 10. One time. 1 times 7 is 7. And we can do our subtraction. And we can get 3 goes down, then we bring down the 0. So now we have 30. 7 goes into 30 how many times? And that's going to be 4. 4 times 7 is 28. And we're left over with 2. And once again, we're not going to write a remainder. We're not going to do 14 remainder 2%. That doesn't sound very good. Instead, we're going to take this remainder and we're going to turn that into our numerator. And because we're dividing by 7, that becomes our denominator. And so we have an answer of 14 2/7%. And so we get our first look of how to take remainers and turn them into mixed numbers. And so we have that type of answer for division problems. All right. The other concept we want to look at is the idea of multiples. Now multiples, we don't want to confuse multiples with factors. They are not the same thing. All right. But this is one area that is very easily confused in the minds of students. All right. Factors, we said, are the things multiplied together, such as 2 times 3, that are going to equal 6. All right, and so these are factors here, all right, that give us a product. Multiples are instead, now we're going to take the number 9 in our sample problem. We're going to take the number 9, and we want to know what are the first 4 multiples. So when I take 9, my first multiple is the number 1. 9 times 1 equals 9. The first multiple of 9 is 9. Second multiple would be 9 times 2, which would be 18. Third multiple would be 9 times 3, which equals 27, which would mean our fourth multiple is 9 times 4, which equals 36. And so multiples are when we're taking our number and we're multiplying by other numbers to get, well, whichever multiple they're asking for. We could continue this process, and I could say, well, what is the 7th multiple of 9, which would be 9 times 7, which is going to give us an answer of 63. All right? So we want to be clear about the difference between multiples and factors. All right. Then, I'll leave you with a sample problem then, and you can start working with this idea of mixed numbers as answers to division problems, and we'll continue working with multiples as we work through the year. That is the end of math lesson 25.